Hey, welcome back to Nights and Weekends with me, Marcus, your host, the one-man band. Had to bring that back. The one-man band on this side of the internet. Today, I'm going to hop in quickly on Sam Seder when he went on Jubilee and debated 20 Trump supporters. Now, again, since I'm not a sycophant, some of these supporters were absolutely terrible in their logical reasoning. But we are going to hop into first who Sam Seder is, and then I clued in on just a few things that I wanted to talk about. One of them was about taxes on the rich. Anyway, taxes on the rich, and then also his stance on abortion and why it is he feels like that. Because at the end of the day, he's kind of agnostic. He doesn't know if God exists or not, and I'm going to show you that. He calls himself a Reformed Jew, but Jews can be a religion and a people. He's Jewish by birth. Religion wise, I don't even think he even has one. So his moral foundations are built on nothing. So we're going to hop on into this as to what Sam Seder is. Do you want to know what it is? All right. So Sam Seder, man, that's crazy. He's coming up on 60 here next year. 59-year-old progressive guy, very smart guy, no shade on him. And he's actually a voice actor and a real actor. And he is the main person on the Majority Report. It has his name, a sake, the Majority Report with Sam Seder. He's a progressive, okay? Far left, since at least when it comes to the folks on that side, they all, at least the folks in the media, they never tell you far left. They just say, this person was debating far right people. But anyway, we're going to hop on into this. Ed and Mark is going to do some stuff here, but let's hop into the first one in reference to taxes. This is from Jubilee. Please, Jubilee, please don't copyright strike me. Please. Okay. Okay. This is a fledgling channel. Anyway, hop right on into this.
Gap in our country, right? I don't think Republicans or liberals would disagree on that, but I think where we will fundamentally disagree is under Trump, right? The stats show that take-home pay was higher for the middle class and the lower class. Inflation was down. They weren't paying as much on taxes.
Inflation was down, but wage growth was actually greater during the Biden administration.
Well, that's because due to COVID, when a lot of people lost jobs.
No. I mean, I'm talking in percentage comparison between those 4 years and these past 4 years. Wage growth grew not from as a baseline on 2020, but I'm talking as a baseline from 2016.
So Ed and Mark is up here working his magic. So according to Sam Seder, wage growth was higher under Biden than what it was under Trump. That's just simply false. Okay. So as we have here in real dollars, again, Sam is too smart to not know what it was he was talking about. So he's lying to the person. And I have to say this, it's funny that Jubilee did not fact check him either, by the way. So I think that should probably tell you where the bias lies when it comes to Jubilee. But as we can see here, it's essentially slightly below, if adjusted for inflation, that the real wages are lower in real, as in what you can actually buy. It's lower than when the man took office. Okay. Now, compared to what it was under Trump, we see here from the BBC, they get their information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay. Right when he came on into office, it was around $26. Prior to COVID, it was 28 something. So in real terms, your wages were going up. But Sam, again, he just flat out just lied, okay? Because he doesn't want to admit that in inflation adjusted dollars that people are making less. And then also something else I want to throw in there, because he said earlier, and again, I can make this a 2-hour long video that no one will watch. It's hard to get people to watch already. But he also, in his head, if we just simply tax the rich more.
And the reason why I think billionaires should pay more taxes than other people, even a higher percentage, is because it works better for society. The greatest expansion we've had in this country in terms of economics and the least amount of wealth disparity was in the 40s and 50s and 60s in this country. Do you know what the top marginal rate was?
It was high.
Do you know what it
I don't
was?
know the exact number, but
If you made over $470,000 in 1955, every dollar you would make above that was taxed at 90%.
so I have a question.
90 cents on every dollar was taxed above 470. So if we had in today's dollars,
which is wild, by the way. But
and it's also the greatest expansion we had of the economy.
yeah, you
It
can
helps
you can
more
expand
people in
for a
this country.
time, and then you see.
We can have everything we want. And he pointed back to the 1950s, which he said was the best era that we ever had in this country, in the 40s, 50s, 60s. If you look here, according to the Tax Foundation, the effective tax rate for the top 1% of households was 42%. In 2014, the effective tax rate for the top 1% of households was 36.4%. So you're going to tell me that from that 5.6% that you can pay for Social Security, health care for all, women's time off after they have any kids, housing, food security, all this kind of stuff, get out of here. Again, he's too smart. The thing that Sam wants, since he is a progressive, a far left progressive, he wants to raise the floor and not raise the ceiling. Okay? And at the end of the day, you need go-getters to be able to keep what they kill to move society forward. Okay? We're going to hop right back on into this. Edna Marcus, set me up, please.
My claim is that abortion is immoral and should not be legal.
Yeah, I disagree largely because I think the primary rights that we have under a society should belong to the person, and I don't believe a fetus is a person.
Okay. Okay. So that's very interesting. You don't believe the fetus is a person. When do you think that it gains personhood, in your opinion? Would you agree it's a human life, at least?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, yes, I think largely, I think that claim is largely like, it's not relevant to the way that I think about it. I think about it in terms of personhood. I think life exists all around us. And
not human. Well, human life, but not like there's
Right.
not human life in a tree. Correct.
Right, correct.
Okay.
And
So it's human life.
It's human life.
But it's not a person?
It's not a person.
At which point does it gain personhood and gain the value of being a human?
Well, I think it becomes a person when it's born.
Why? So 5 seconds prior. It's not born yet.
Okay. So as we can see there, Sam also goes on to say, and again, this is par for the course. He thinks that a fetus or a baby that's inside of you is not a person until they're born. And I kind of understand where it is Sam is coming from, because Ed and Marcus is going to have to throw in the clip of him explaining where it is he gets his world view from. So Ed and Marcus, throw in the clip from earlier in the Jubilee episode of the guy explaining moral rights. His morality.
Here's where I'm getting to, right? Religious foundations provide an ethical framework for one to live their life off
I
of.
believe you can have an ethical framework without religion.
And if we take aspect,
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
I'm a Reformed Jew. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
So as we can see there, he doesn't believe that you need a God, or that you need at least some type of close to objective standard of morality. He goes off of preference. and what will cause the least amount of suffering, quote unquote. But I think it's a bit crazy to say that you could essentially abort a child up until the point of birth. Now, he goes on in the name of honesty, because I'm an honest person. He says, well, in a perfect world, I wouldn't want for somebody to be able to do that, blah, blah, blah. Fine. He goes on to say that he wouldn't want for that to, for a person to be able to go get an abortion at 8.5 months or 9 or the day before the person is supposed to give birth. But he does not want any restrictions at all on abortion. And this, again, is par for the course, because he went on the Timcast Culture War pod show several months ago. And I'm going to skip ahead to that right now.
How often do people go in and get an abortion at 8.5 months because
Money.
they feel like it?
That's my point.
Yeah, very, very few.
Right. So why are you bringing it up?
Well, because the people who you would create restrictions are going to are going to cause
Exceedingly rare and not even an issue.
So then why would we have any restrictions whatsoever?
Because, what do you mean? So that babies at 8 months don't have their lives ended?
Well, I mean, what if
Murder is extremely rare, but we have laws against it. Okay. Killing people unjustifiably killing people is a rare occurrence. People stealing is also a rare occurrence if you add up the amount of people that live in this country. It's a rare occurrence, but we have laws against it because we want to make sure that it's known that you're not supposed to do it. So let me get back to this.
what if there are reasons for it?
That's then requiring adjudication. But it's so exceedingly rare. You're arguing an edge case for a dramatic change in policy.
But
I'm not. I'm
it's
saying
not a dramatic change in policy. There are, I think, like
it's kind of
10
wild that I'm
states.
like, women should
There
be
are
able to get
10
abortions, but you're like, yes, but in these exceedingly rare circumstances, we should remove all restrictions because sometimes.
Excuse me. I think there's 10 states at least. I know you can look this up where there are no restrictions.
I agree. Yeah.
So it's not. This is not some type of like radical change of policy. It exists.
No, this is recent. After the end of Roe v. Wade, these are the restrictions that these changes started happening across the board.
I mean, I can understand that.
You agree with those states removing restrictions?
Like I say, yes, because I think
That's not Roe v. Wade. That's the end of Roe v.
Oh, I said at least go back to Roe v. Wade.
There we go. So I think we're just about done here with Mr. Sam Seder. But as we can see there, he doesn't believe in any restrictions at all. He also is going off of an atheist or agnostic belief that we somehow are just able to innately know what's right and wrong. And that's not true by any means. You have to civilize people. You have to put some type of North Star, whether that be religion, as in God end up saying it, which is where I'm from, or you live in a society where a long time ago, God said it, and then everything else that follows after that has been based on what God ended up saying. So for Sam is up here lying to people, which is his prerogative. He wants no restrictions on abortion, zero. He also essentially is an agnostic slash atheist. He's a Reformed Jew. He doesn't think that you need God to give you any sense of morality, or at least a Christian God. At least for me, if there is no God, everything is permissible. Everything after that is just a preference. As the man said, it's just a preference. So you all should go watch the hour and a half of the Jubilee. If you're on the left, you will enjoy some of the stupid stuff that the folks on the right said. If you're on the right, you will definitely like how Ben cornered him. You will like the guy who was asking him about where he gets his morality from. And I think like one other guy or a female, but that's it. Sam, if we lived in Sam's world, it would be from each his ability to each according to his need. That's what he actually wants. And also for somebody who has no moral basis, no moral foundation, and doesn't want restrictions on abortion because of edge cases, then why do we have laws in the first place? Because I can end up naming almost any situation where an exception to the rule could be found and made, and it would make logical sense. But that doesn't mean that we get rid of laws. So Sam, along with Miss Emma Vigeland, they're both champagne socialists, along with Hassan, which eventually I'm going to get around to that guy too, because he's anyway, see y'all in a week. Bye.